Greetings, hello, one and all, to welcome to another Shiny Developer Series live stream. Thank you for joining. We are at Wednesday. You know what that means. Yeah, more R fun to be had, and probably a little chaos thrown in there. I always like to push the envelope on some of these, and we may be pushing a couple things this time. But I have a plan, and we'll see if the plan works. So, hello, and let's bring in the chat. Hello, Unicorn Coder. Thank you for joining. We've been hanging out on Mariah's stream earlier tonight. She did a great job as usual. And that's one thing. I'm still pretty new to this whole affiliate thing, and I don't know if there's a way that the creators of these streams have a say in what advertisements play out. I would certainly hope that I get some transparency into that, but I have a lot to learn on this stuff. So in due time, I guess, and I'll certainly look at kind of spicing up the channel a little bit, adding some more kind of rewards and emotes like what Unicorn Quarter has already given me a taste of, which I need to didn't get enough time after the kids stuff tonight to prep that yet, but that may be a weekend project when I get a chance. So let's dive into what we're going to work on today. And if you are new here, please come say hi in the chat. We love talking, hanging out. It's very casual. This is always one of the highlights of my days. Wednesdays, for whatever reason, at the day job, are some of my most hectic with either high octane development or a bunch of meetings, or sometimes both. It was kind of a good balance today. Made some progress on some adventures with revamping about a 2-year-old app to use some new techniques with launching high performance computing in a different kind of platform than I usually do, that I use in another app, which this always gets me, is that all that stuff I do a few hours ago, technically, there's no way I can share it here other than maybe I can engineer something fun that is very much inspired by it. But, in due time. We got some fun stuff we have on tap today, or tonight. Definitely not today anymore. So let me get to my fancy schmancy setup here. And where we left off, and actually I got some new commands for the chat. I need to put these somewhere where it's more obvious, but I have a new command called project, and that will give you links to what we're gonna look at tonight in terms of the project itself. And we are headed back to shinycal again. It's the app that keeps on giving, I guess, in terms of content for me, because I always think of cool stuff to do. So yep, good. The commands work. Stream elements was nice to me. Yep, good. So where we left off last time, actually it's not on this version. I haven't deployed it yet. We need to go to VS Code for that. Silly me. Let's go to VS Code. We're going to run the app quickly, and then we will show all of you where we left off. Get our run dev script up here. So we run that. Hopefully nothing broke. Yep, we are in decent shape here. We left off at this step where we're having an entry form that will actually, I should always give background on this. For those that haven't heard about this, this is a fun little project I started a few months ago with all the great data science streamers out there on Twitch and even on YouTube as well, which I used to do myself. We're trying to assemble when all their scheduled streams are happening in one place that's easy to find and will be updated throughout the day in a separate repository. So we are on Wednesday. I go to my time zone. This is all a lot of credit to Unicorn Coder for helping me with the time zone management here, but we are right here. Not sure why Mariah's... Oh, may have been updated after Mariah concluded out the look at that. But anyway, that's where we are today. And where we left off last week was this little form here, which has no styling yet, so to speak. But we're going to make it so that if there's somebody that isn't in the system currently, that either you personally are a streamer that wants to be in the system, or you know somebody who's doing data science streaming that should be listed. We have a simple form to fill out, nothing fancy here, just their Twitch ID, their name, and their Twitter ID if they have it, which platform they're supporting. Right now I do have an option for YouTube, but I haven't plugged that in yet, and the categories that they do. So of course I'm biased, I always pre-select R, but we can choose any of these here. So okay, so what we're going to do now is work on kind of the back end of what I talked about last time, because I want to do something kind of cool, which does mimic something I have done a couple times in the day job projects, where we want to take data collected in this app, in this case a simple form, and we want to send that dynamically to a place online that I can take this data and merge it with the rest of the streaming data. Now, what is this place I'm referring to? Well, we have ourselves a repository. I will boot it up here. You saw in the command I just sent there the link to the shinycal repo itself, but shinycal is not a one repo project. It is consuming data from this repository right here called streamer data. The key point is that this is an R script that scrapes the Twitch API based on YAML files that are in the repo, and all these files here are for the streamers that are currently in the system. So since you are here, Unicorn Coder, we'll pick on your YAML here. Not much to look at other than the typical metadata, but we want to dynamically, from this application that we're working on now in this web form, submit a pull request with a new YAML corresponding to the new streamer that we want to add. And this is well, that's the thing, is that this form will at least give us the gateway to add new stuff, but I do have plans to edit existing data as well. That's gonna be a harder problem to solve, but not insurmountable by any means. So what we're gonna do is find a way to obviously create the YAML file itself, which we are very close to having already, but then through the app itself, send the pull request to this repo or a development version of it, and basically make it automatic for me to get notified via GitHub that this is here, and I can merge it in, and then the GitHub action will take over and refresh the whole data set with all the previous streamers plus whatever the new one is that we're merging. So I think it's kind of fun, because I've actually done a similar project, obviously not with streaming data, at work, where my app had a contact form that also doubled as like an issue reporter. So it was a very simple web form on the Shiny app, very similar to what I'm doing here in this little app right here. But then I wired that with the GitHub API to file their note as an issue in the repository of the app itself. So I figure if I could do that there, I can do a pull request here. So, famous last words, but you know, we like to live on the edge here. So, let's get to it. Now, one thing to note before I'll go back to the browser for a second is that I don't want to gummy up this repo just yet. So what I've done here is I've actually made another repo called streamer data dev, which is really meant for me to be a sandbox to try stuff out. And I don't care how messy it gets, but this is kind of good practice in general for more complicated development, is always have yourself a prototyping area or a prototyping repository that you don't mind just screwing up and making mistakes, no matter what the history looks like. It's a great way to keep your production version of something intact until you're ready to flip that switch. So I'm gonna show you the techniques I do for that. Yeah, it's kind of, I think some people call it separation of concerns or whatever the term is, unicorn coder, but I live this for a project that I've been working on quite a bit, where we have dev and prod versions of machine learning models, dev and prod versions of data that's being scraped from online. Same thing with where the results are being stored at in AWS. We have dev and prod AWS buckets. So I've been living this world for a bit. So it's kind of cool to be able to at least share what my ideas are for this, and hopefully it helps some people learn. So, okay, let's go back to VS Code. And what we're going to do now is we're going to use kind of the magic of Golem with some nice things they give us to configure like dev things versus prod things. So what we want to do here is, oh, now I know what's going on. I'll show you in a little bit. I'm going to open up a YAML file, which is appropriate. This is called golem config.yaml. Every app that's made with Golem comes with this out of the box, and it's a nice way for you to quickly see or set configuration options for your application.
Time raided my stream with 4 viewers.
Oh, Monica, how are you? Oh, Big Pot, you're here too. You're staying up late. Thank you for joining, friends. Oh, even John's here too. Okay, we got a crowd here. I love it. I love it. Welcome to another Shiny Developer Series live stream. She's Bacon. Oh, great to see you. I haven't seen. I mean, I've heard your voice recently on Linux Unplugged when I was so jealous that Monica and John were able to visit all of you at System 76. But you know what? You'll be happy to know, Cheese Bacon, that this stream is being powered by System 76 Thelio. And it's going on strong. And after the OBS leveling up that Martin and the gang like Monica and others have given me, it's been a reliable workstation, and I couldn't be happier. So, welcome. We're going to have some fun with Shiny app development in R tonight, and we're going to get kind of down and dirty with some low-level API and GitHub stuff. Yes, I am... if I am making my way back to Colorado, yes, I will definitely be dropping by System 76 one way or another. It's on my Linux bucket list, so to speak. So, okay, so where was I? So we got this YAML file that's defining app configurations. Let's see. So what we want to do here is we want to add a couple configurations here that are going to help with this new feature of the form. Some of this is outdated. I'm going to have to change some of this, but this is what I typically do. So, we're going to make a variable here called, what do we call this? Streamer data. I like to be a little more verbose with names. So streamer data repo. And for this, we are going to copy then the from the other window. I'm going to paste it in here. So the default section is going to be what is typically used when the app loads, but then we have this production one that's going to be loaded when the app is deployed on the production server. So the nice thing is all we have to do is just recopy that. And we're just going to call this, whoops, wrong keyboard there. Oh, by the way, Cheese, the keyboard that's powering this, let me go to my overview for a second, is the launch keyboard, which I waited patiently for, and it's a beauty. So I'm a System 76 fanboy right now. Alright, back to the fun stuff here. Okay, so I think what I might need to do is I might need to change the URL slightly, get the HTTPS version of it. So I'm going to copy that from the upper window, because we're going to actually use this. No, I just need a .get at the end, so it should be .get. Okay. So now we've got that set up. So we have the dev repo and the production repo for streamer data. Well, look who's here. Tan is here. He's always my my co-pilot that always saves my behind on many ways in these streams. So it's going to be fun. We got an awesome group tonight. So yeah, I'm excited. You all are making me excited. So we got the configuration here. Now I will tell you all my plan for this feature, which again I think will work, but I could be completely wrong. That's why we learn together. All right, so let me go back to the web here. I'm gonna get back to my shinycal. I made an issue out of this while I was waiting for my son's taekwondo practice to conclude. I was on GitHub during that. Okay, so we're gonna look at the backend for this new streamer data, this streamer data feature. So the idea is I kind of wrote this in the spirit of what I do at work. Is I write what's the high level goal of this is that when we complete that web form in the app itself, that this will dynamically send a pull request that contains a new YAML file based on the data that's guessed in there, or that's been compiled in there. And the initial requirements are that first, this will be a streamer that's on Twitch right now, although the YouTube stuff will be coming soon. And assuming they have a Twitch account, I'm only going to accept those for now that have an actual schedule set up, because I'm not too happy with what I've done to try and reverse engineer the schedules for those that actually don't have a schedule. Well, thank you, Cheese. Much appreciated for the follow. Yeah, very cool. And so here's where the fun begins tonight, is what we're going to do for the back end, is that I want to try to use this package to pull this off, because it has some nice helpers for interacting with Git repos, GitHub repos, and submitting pull requests. Now that's kind of what I pulled up here, one of the functions called PR init, PR, etc. I kind of want to try this once I clone the repo to a temporary directory somewhere. So we're going to kind of take it one step at a time. We're going to clone the repo for streamer data dev to some directory in my app that's not going to be, it's just disposable, just to see if that piece works. And then from within that repo, we are going to try, and I emphasize try, putting the new YAML file in that repo file system directory, and then make a new branch into the upstream repo of that with the branch name of like the name of the new streamer coming in, and hopefully that makes a pull request. So that's exactly what we're going to try and do. So who knows if this is going to work or not, but we're gonna have fun with it. So what I like to do in these situations is I like to in a prototyping directory, although I could do this in R Markdown as well. I'm kind of toying with should I do an R Markdown file, maybe so. I know I had those somewhere, didn't I? Let me see. Oh, I had them in vignettes, yeah. So this is another technique that the fine friends at ThinkR like to do, is we create a vignette that kind of shows our development ideas for a feature, whether it's part of the app or some backend thing, and we kind of put narrative around it and be able to kind of view the notes side by side. So let's make a new one. So in order to do that, I have a nice little dev script here to add vignettes, I believe. Yep. Okay, so we're going to launch a new vignette. We'll call this GitHub backend. Let's launch that. Now, I don't know what that whole thing's about. Oh yeah, this Docker container somehow doesn't have VI on it, which makes absolutely no sense to me, but that's another story. Yes, Unicorn Coder, I will zoom in. I accidentally reset that last time. Alright, we're in my VS Code appearance. Yep. In. Hopefully that's better. Okay. Oh, I always get that mix up in my keyboard shortcuts. Save that. Let's yeah, I don't get it either, Cheese Bacon, but this is a Docker container based on Ubuntu 2004, so I have I knew that was coming. I knew we were gonna have some VI and Nano and probably Emacs and who knows what else talking here, but it's all good fun. Okay, so where was I? So GitHub backend, we're right here. Okay, we got our stuff right here. So we are not going to load shinycal for this. And by the way, for those that are kind of new to R, one of the awesome things that we've had in the last, I'd say 4 or 5 years, is the ability to create markdown documents that are interspersed with R code to have what's called literate programming. It's a really nice feature. It's a great way to put notes around what we're doing in our projects. So we're going to load use this and then setting up a local copy of repo. So we can do that here. Now I'm feeling adventurous tonight. I'm going to try doing the live preview with VS Code in our Markdown. Let's see if this works. Well, look at that. It does. Okay, let's make the heading smaller. Let's save that. Yep. Sweet. Love it. Love it. I don't care about the title of it. So let's see. So, okay. So we know we're going to use the usethis package. And just for simplicity's sake, I'm going to, whoops, I need my curly bracket. Set up Git. Okay. So this is called a code chunk, and then we're going to put these little ticks here, and that's where we're going to put our code. So just because I'm a little lazy, I'm going to define that repository URL again from the URL directly. So we're going to paste that in. I need quotes around it. There we go. Now, now we need to see if we can set up a we're going to set up a temp directory. We actually already have one. I call it prototyping because I think by default, my prototyping dir here, I ignore anything else in here. I'm pretty sure I do. Let's find out. I'm going to go to my git ignore here somewhere. Yes, I do. So this is the little trick I do for my work projects is I'll have a directory in my repository that I do temporary stuff in, and I ignore everything but the README in it, because the README I'll put in there so that others that work with me on the team know that they can use that to do whatever random stuff they want, and it's not gonna, muck up the GitHub repo. So we already have it. We don't really need to set it up here, but now I want to start looking at to use this package. Now I wonder if I link that issue or the create from GitHub. Okay. So this is what we're going to try and do here. And we're going to run the create from GitHub. So what I like to do is I like to look at the help side by side just to make sure I'm got the lingo correct. Okay. So the repo spec, I believe that will be, yep, the browser URL or the HTTPS URL. Okay, so we got that covered. So that's going to be the first param here. Let's see what else we need. There. Okay, so this is where, actually, I probably should set up a directory in that. So let's do that here and prototyping. Now, you know what? I have my awesome friends from, they're fans of Linux and command line. We are going to do command line. Or let's call this okay, fine. Okay. Now we're going to use that. Tester. GitHub. Okay. So if false, we clone repo spec. Okay, so let's see what the default for fork. I want to do fork equal false because I just want to clone the thing. Because it's my account doing this. Yeah, actually, Tan, I do use the FS quite a bit. I just was lazy tonight, but every app I do at work is using FS. It's another great package by Jim Hester, our studio software engineer. Now, I do not want to initiate an RStudio project, at least for now. So I'm going to say RStudio equal false. So you can see I'm going a little beyond the defaults. I think I want open to be false as well. Let's see. Well, I'm not sure what protocol defaults do that. It'll probably just guess on its own. I don't know. I think the rest. Now I don't know. Okay, I think this might work. Let's find out. All right, let's close this. All right, let's give it a shot. Back to my R terminal here. Okay, so we define that, and let's see what happens. Oh, I thought I loaded the package. Okay, maybe not. Alright. Is nested inside. So, do I want to create anyway? So it's kind of thinking it's a project, so I can see why this might be overkill. But let's just try it. Let's try it. Cloning repo from into. Okay. Now, did it actually do the job? Let's find out. Prototyping, GitHub data. Well, look at that. It's all there. It's actually all there. So, that's pretty slick. That's pretty slick. Now, the one thing I didn't like about that is that it had a prompt here. I want to make sure I have a default selection for that. So, first of all, let me see if I actually have fs installed here. I'm pretty sure I do. So actually, we're gonna show off what fs is awesome at. We're gonna. So the way fs works is that we can kind of define the paths. It's kind of like file.path in this case, only much better. And what we'll do is we'll wipe this directory out and re-initialize it. So we say fs dir is this, and then this dir. We're just gonna wipe that thing out. Fs dir delete. I think that'll work. Yeah, I thought I did RStudio equal false. Let me show the word wrap here and we'll see if I... Yeah, I did RStudio false, fork equal false, open equal false, but there must be another parameter I'm missing here. And honestly, I'm fully aware that there probably is a way to do this with the GitHub API natively, but I'm just kind of curious how far I can take packages that are already out there. It's like a good learning experience to see how deep we go. So let's wipe that directory out. Okay, so I think it wiped it out. Let's see. Yep, it's gone, and then we will do fs dir create. That's exactly what Tam was referring to before. It's very easy to get these set up. Okay, we got it back. Now, let's see if we can see any params that we... So we did RStudio as null, or as false. We did open equal false, protocol host. So let's see if there's any other things here. See, the use this package is really meant to help with package development and helping our users really collaborate effectively with GitHub and parts of their functions. So there may actually not be a way to suppress this information, which is why we're doing this kind of stuff now, because I don't want to plug this into the app if there is no way to suppress that. Yeah, I don't see anything that is... Whoops, it's the wrong place. Yeah, here. I don't see anything to suppress what just happened. So I'm guessing I have to do a different direction here. Because the thing that's tripping this up is that we're already in a Git repository for this shinycal project. So it's like it's trying to do another Git repository in the same place, which we actually are okay with because we're just doing temporary things. But there may be a way around this. I just realized that maybe instead of this being the... Yeah, it's going to break here, of course. That's okay. We should do a different desk directory. We should do just some off the beaten path in my temporary file system here. Exactly, Tan. Yep. See, this time I actually predicted where you're going with it, so I feel like I'm smart today. Usually Tan beats me to it, but this time I was on the case. So we're gonna do dir, and I think FS has a temp, a path temp or a file temp. Let's see. Let's see what this one does. Path temp constructs a path within the session temporary directory. Okay, so let's try that. Let's do this dir. So what is this dir? Okay, that's definitely a temporary place. So we're gonna now. Why did that? What in the world is that all about? Oh. Well, the plot thickens here. apparently RM does some stuff with the temporary directory too. I don't know. Now I'm very curious what this temp directory has. Wait, there's something really crazy going on here. I don't know what that's about. I sense I need to restart my session. Whenever these kind of weird things happen, I restart the session. Let's try again. Okay. All right. Is test. Sure. That's fine. Let's do a dir ls on this. Is there anything in here? Well, look at that. Okay, so this is interesting. So this is an esoteric thing that only me and maybe 3 other people in the world will encounter that do VS Code with the R extension in a Docker container and on a live stream. That we see these temp bits here. So what we want to do here is we want to we're gonna use this temp directory, but we're gonna put within it a new directory called GitHub data. So that way we don't blow up the whole thing. Yes, I like layers, both in clothing when it's cold and apparently in my coding too, if that makes sense. So, okay, so now let's try this stir. Okay, that looks better. Now this should not execute this. This should create it. Okay. Now, let's see if we get the crazy stuff like we did before. And of course, because I've kept them, we'll use this. Let's do that. Alright. Well, there. Okay. Tempters for the win. That way, it did not get confused of us trying to do a project within a project and have even more layers to make us really heat up. This did it the right way. So, now what's interesting is that it is trying to set an active project, which I don't think is going to matter here because we're just doing this in VS Code. There is no concept of projects in the RStudio sense in VS Code. So I feel like we should be okay there. But now, let's just see what we got here. I think there's a, FS third tree. Let's see what this gives us. Yeah, so this is kind of a cool thing here. We get a nice, if those of you who use the Linux a lot know about the tree command to do a command line kind of nested listing of files. That's what this does in the FS package. So we've got everything here. Like this operation works. Now, what we can do now is we can now take it. Again, we're going to prototype here. We're going to do all this outside the app first before we plug it into the app. Try sending a PR with a new file. This is what we're going to try to do now. We're going to try it here. This is going to be based on use this, but first we're going to do some FS magic again to make some we could just make some random stuff. So this doesn't really matter what it is. We're just gonna make a new file. So YAML there, and this is where the FS package comes into play. Again, we're gonna go here, and then yes, I believe we call this YAML. Oh, then we have to do streamer data dev, and this will be within this YAML files. So this should give us the path that we want for the YAML dir. So that's right. Oh, nice. I see emotes here. Cool stuff. Thank you. I told Unicorn Coder at the beginning of this I'm gonna try and level up the emote stuff here now that I'm affiliate status, but this old timer here, it takes a while to learn these things. So YAML dir, let's make sure YAML dir actually makes sense here. It does. And we're gonna copy one of them for this thing. Yep. So fs. Well, okay, here's something cool here. Copilot thinks it knows what it's doing here. Whoops. Let's see. Oops, I messed it up. Let's, at least the GitHub Copilot. Let's see if they know what they're doing here. So I don't want that file, but they're on the right track, so it actually did complete a little bit of what I wanted. Let's well, we're gonna pick on Unicorn Coder's YAML file, and then we're gonna follow this live streamer.yaml. Okay, let's copy that. Oh, well, it didn't get it right because I messed it up. Okay. It's a file copy. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Failed to copy. Okay. Did I mess something up there? Let's see if I messed up the listing there. Did I mistype it? Unit folder. Oh, YML. So GitHub Copilot messed me up. Okay. They got nothing on tan. Okay. Alright, there we go. So that should have it now. Yep, live streamer. Okay. So now comes the fun part. Is that this is for this repo that is in this temporary directory. This should be registered as a change. Now for this, I'm kind of curious how I'm going to pull this off, because I think I need to commit this first in that temporary directory and then send a pull request, because this repo, like anything in Git, until you actually stage something and then commit it, no matter what you do in here, it's not going to care about it. It's just going to be a change that has happened. Now, the package that I think I have installed here that could help with this is called gert. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I'll make a note of that, Unicorn Coder. Thank you. So we're going to look at the gert package, which is from Jerome Ooms at ROpenSci, as a way to maybe do the commit in that repo dynamically, and then we'll do the PR with the usethis package. So I'm pretty sure usethis does not have a way to do commits, easy for me to say, with that package alone. So we're going to look at the help page. There are help cache. We'll open up our help topics here. Let's look for gert. Right here. Okay, stage and commit changes is what we want. So we can use git add and all that good stuff. So let's see if they have examples here. So it needs to be in the working directory of that project for gert to work. Now there's a cool package I like to do in those cases when you want to do something on a temporary basis. And that one, I'm gonna get it browsed here, and then we'll look at it together. That package is called withR or wither. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but this is a cool package in the R ecosystem. It lets you run some code in some kind of temporary or modified environment so that you can get back to normal after the functions conclude. So what I want to do is I want to operate in this pseudo directory, this temp directory, in there, and then we'll be able to get out when we're done. So we're going to need, let's make sure we have the wither package as well. We do. Okay. So let me go back to VS Code here and let's give this a shot. So we've done our magic here to get our temp file created, but now we want to do with dir, and I think this will be then I should make a new repo dir, I'll call it. It's just going to be this without the YAML files part. That way we have what should be the root of the repo. Yeah, repo dir. Okay, so then I think we do the rest in brackets. This will look like shinycal for those of you. Yeah, if you can get your hands on that package name, Tan, you might get some more cred maybe. So this is where we want to let me load gert first. Oh, that's cool. When I loaded the gert package, it knew who I was. Oh, that's slick. Okay. Now, that might not work when we deploy to the Shiny app servers, but it's cool that it worked here. Okay, so we are going to first add the file. Which will be git add. And then this is, I'm going to have to do the full name here just for testing here. And then the next one. Well, Tan, you know as well as a lot of people do here, I'm terrible at naming things. And that's probably not going to get any better anytime soon. So, well, hey, the terminal is where it starts, Monica, doesn't it? With all the Docker stuff we've been learning from Martin, you know, ours is going to be coming soon for you, I bet. Okay, so then this should say add live streamer YAML. And I think that should do it. Let's see if this works the first time around. Ooh, that's promising. So for those of you unaware of Git, this is what we call the hash of your commit. At least I think it is. That's a good sign. That should mean that we have the commit in there. Now, it would be nice to verify this, and the way we can verify this, we're going to try a couple ways here. Let's do a new terminal in VS Code, and this terminal is going to be more concerned with the, let's see, I need to get that terminal, or that temp directory here. Copy that path. We're going to put that in the new terminal and see if this actually worked. And of course it will not copy. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Let's see what git status is. No, oh, good question, Unicorn Coders. They were asking, are these hashes supposed to be private? No, in Git, every commit you make has a unique hash, but honestly, with this being a public thing we're going to do, I'm okay with that. It's really just about how Git tracks things. There's nothing bad that can happen just from seeing that. Now, what can happen though, which I've actually done by accident a couple of times, is if you do a commit of a confidential file, yeah, that's where things get crazy, because someone can reverse engineer based on the hash of that commit what confidential thing you committed, and that's trouble, especially if it's an API key. Then don't get me started on those that apparently accidentally committed some AWS keys and suddenly had their EC2 bills go up like 1,000%, and they're trying to figure out, what did I do? And then they realize, forgot to ignore that environment file. It's happened. Luckily, it hasn't happened to me with AWS, but there was. When did I do that recently? Oh, let's tie in OBS for a second. What was that, a month and a half or 2 months ago, Tan? Maybe longer. You were doing that fun little office hour, and I gave you that example OBS export of my OBS scenes. Yeah, 2 months ago. And I accidentally left in my stream elements URLs because I forgot OBS would take that as well as my browser sources. And luckily you caught that, and then that night I was like, refresh everything in Stream Elements and get the new URLs. So that way those old URLs are just busted now. They won't do anything, but that is something that somebody could do with the GitHub repo that I set up for him to look at that export. So you always got to be careful with that. So that's why the git ignore file is your friend. You don't want to ignore git ignore. There's your soundbite for tonight. Okay, so we've got, let's look at the log of this. See, that is committed on my behalf. It said add live streamer YAML. That is slick. That is slick. Okay, so we're almost done. Yeah, that's the key, Cheese Bacon. If you can catch it right away, and then reset your keys, right away after that, then as long as that key's been reset, you're okay. But boy, it's really trouble when somebody doesn't detect that. It's nuts. Don't forget your git forget. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's a great way to phrase it. Oh, that's a cool function, Tan. I wasn't aware of this. Let's look that up. Let's see. Let's look at use this git vaccinate. Well, that's a timely term in these times. Oh, this is sweet. Okay, so it automatically adds like these common files to your git ignore that our studio will produce, or even just the Mac. I detest this file, ds store. I don't want it. Mac, on my work Mac, always makes it. And I always forget to put that in my ignore right away. But this is the key here. These files like HTTR OAuth, this is like a credential store that R uses to get to APIs. So obviously it doesn't ignore everything. So you've got to be a little smart with it. That's a diversion. Hey, this is a fun thing to mention, is that whenever I watch like most of your data science or even the Linux streams out there, I'm the one that's saying random stuff half the time. So I'm all for it. So what I was going to show you all is that in my ignore file, it's actually got a lot of stuff in it. But notice this .env. That's what I put my confidential environment variable stuff. But what I don't ignore is what I call an example of it, which is right here, where I was doing some Nextcloud stuff with this way back in the past, and I just put in dummy stuff here so that people would know if they wanted to use this project, at least back in those early days, they had to supply their own Nextcloud credentials in order to get to that iCal stuff that I worked on what seems like forever ago, which I will get back to at some point, because that's another feature that I want to add back in the shinycal proper. So yeah, that was cool stuff. So where we're at here is that we've got the commit made. And what I want to do at this point is send this PR to the repo that we defined earlier, the online repo, through usethis. So let's look at the help file for that. I was usethis. I think it was PR in that. Yep. Okay, so this is where we gotta cross our fingers that this is going to work the way I intended. As painless as possible. So your project must be a Git repo and have one of these remote configurations. You can push it as origin and it's not a fork. That's what we've done here. We're not going to do the fork thing because this is my repo. So whenever the app will do this, it will be acting on my behalf, not on like somebody else's behalf. So I'm okay with that. So I think we want PR init. Branch is a name of your existing local branch. So I think the key point though is that I want to create a new branch for it. So I think what we'll do here, PR init, and then we're gonna call this just experimenting with this. So right now I'm going to comment these two out since we already did it, but I'm going to try running this and see if that PR goes through. And here goes nothing. Well, I always knew that would happen. Unable to confirm the Git remote configuration is pull request ready. Now I thought I had set up the PAT. Well, the joys of having a screen that has more than one window, I'm going to do some quick detective work on my local copy of this of this repo of shinycal. Well, I see some silly stuff in here, and I see what's happening here. First, that .env has some random stuff here that I need to get rid of, so I'm going to do that in a terminal that none of you can actually see. So. Yeah, I had some temporary bits there. So this is an easy fix. Like I said, you all are not going to see this, so this will be kind of like I probably should tell you all a story while I'm doing this, since you can't actually see anything I'm doing here. Although I did realize that you don't have that here, but I think I know where it is. I know where it is. I'm going to execute a new password manager to recover that. I've over-engineered so many things, but apparently I did it with this too. Podcast account. I have it. Okay, good stuff. I have it. All right. Yep, got it there. Okay. So in order to make this all work, I'm going to get out of this thing first. I'm going to have to restart my session, because anytime you make configuration files or environment variable changes in R, you have to restart your session for it to pick up. So I'm going to quit out of this. And we'll get back. Make a new R's terminal. And I'm not going to show you what it is, but I'm going to check if it's missing or not. Okay, it's there. So you're not going to see it, but it is there. Yeah, you. Okay, so yeah, I actually didn't tell you the full story yet. I don't know if any of you were watching Jesse Massapak's stream about learning Shiny earlier today, but we somehow got on the topic of playing instruments, and I'd said, oh, I played trumpet in middle school and high school, and then I said, she asked if I had stopped playing or if I kept playing in college, and I said, no, I stopped playing in college, because that's when I was starting to get adventurous and a little more athletic stuff, because that was around middle high school that I started working out more seriously. I was trying to get in good shape. I was not so much training for a specific thing back then, I just wanted to get in better shape. I was lifting a lot. And then in freshman year, it was a sophomore year of college, I think it was sophomore year, I'm just working out at the campus gym, doing my thing. And then a freshman student came up to me, and she was on the cheerleading team and said, hey, I didn't know if you're interested. Would you like to join our team? We need more guys on the team. And I'm like, well, I'll think about it. It was one of those times where we're just trying to do new stuff, I guess, and went and tried out, and I somehow made it, but I think it was more out of desperation on their part. I didn't exactly fit the mold of almost everyone else on that team, which were either ex-football players that got hurt somehow, or wrestlers, or whatever else. Now, I wouldn't say I was totally out of shape. I mean, I definitely lifted seriously back then, but it's different when you don't actually play a bigger sport versus just working out. So, but I had fun. I was on during the football seasons. I was on the sidelines, and my favorite parts were when we would move to the student section. And that's when the student section would get a little rowdy, especially when the refs made what they deemed a bad call. And they would have some, you might say, rather profane chants at some point. And I likened it back to my days of watching pro wrestling and the various chants we would have at the heels of the show. And I'm just kind of like, I didn't say it, but I was kind of like egging it on a little bit. And then the coaches kind of look at me and like, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I did my part then, I guess. So it's a unique experience, and I will say, watching it on TV does not do it justice, because that stuff is hard. Throwing somebody in the air is pretty hard. And when I say hard, I mean pretty hard, because over the course of like the 4 or 5 months that I was doing it that first season, things just started not getting right. But I haven't gotten to the real drama yet. There's more drama in this. I had a roommate that sophomore year that actually was already on the team. And he was kind of a quiet person. Decent enough. We met a freshman year. We would play GoldenEye on N64 and watch South Park together. Just kind of hanging out while the other freshmen were doing more crazy stuff. And so they needed a roommate, and I said, hey, yeah, I'm looking for a roommate to get into a different part of the campus housing. So we lived together. Everything was fine. And we had another roommate, his friend named Ryan, who, now this ties into something that a lot of you will resonate with. He was using Linux. And this is around the year 2000, 2001, folks. 2001. This guy was using Linux. I think it was the early Fedora. And at this point, I had no idea what Linux was. I had just been on Windows all this time. And they would set up their own Quake 3 server in the apartment. So I played Quake 3 a lot. And then they said, hey, Eric, let me install some stuff on your system so you can join our local server. And I didn't know anything of it. I was just like, yeah, go for it. Let him have my keyboard for a bit. And then he quickly went back downstairs. And then he must have figured out a way to get to my Windows box from his machine, because he didn't just install stuff friendly for Quake, he did other stuff on my computer. You might say pranks, but I wasn't exactly thrilled about it, but I kind of walked into it not knowing what he was doing. But anyway, back to the other roommate that was on the team. I told him that, hey, I actually went to check out a practice, and I saw him there on the team. But get this, he never told me about any of this. Like, this is news to me. He never ever mentioned the things he was doing outside of class. So then I look at a practice, I'm kind of checking it out, and then it was a week before the tryout. I was studying for a computer science exam of all things, and he came to me that morning, or was it that night, maybe that night before. And he kind of looked at me kind of in an awkward way and said, you know what, Eric, I'd appreciate it if you don't join the team. I'm like, oh, is there a problem? And he kind of went to this weird explanation of how he had a different personality there than he did outside of that team. And he didn't want people to kind of see that other side of him. That since I've been, his roommate or whatnot, he just didn't want the two worlds mixed up. I'm paraphrasing here. I'm trying to remember as best I can. And I said, well, I'm just there to help out. It's not like I'm going to talk much. I mean, and he just kind of left it at that. And I kind of thought about it. I was like, that's kind of an odd thing to say. But you only live once. I'm going to try this out. So I went ahead and went on the team. And yeah, he never spoke to me again. Not unless I was forced to during the practices. There was silence at the apartment after that. So that was one odd thing, is the drama of that, which I did not expect. But the other drama was about 4 months later, when I noticed something wasn't right one morning when I literally could not get out of bed. My back was jacked. I slept on the top bunk. I couldn't even get down that ladder very well. And I just kind of hobbled my way to the local health and gym center there. And I said, yeah, something's not right. I can barely walk. And they hooked me up with some stem machine thing to check me out, try to stimulate the muscles there. And they said, yeah, you probably need to get checked out by an orthopedic. And I said, yeah, you're right. So it was about shortly thereafter, I got an appointment with an orthopedic surgeon. And I could start walking a little better at that point, but I knew that something wasn't right. So I got an x-ray. 3 fractured vertebrae in my back. Probably from cheerleading. Because apparently I didn't have the best form doing it. I likened myself to be pretty strong, but apparently it wasn't strong enough, because my posture when I would get them up and then try to hold them up, like the toss the hands or what we call the chair, I was arching my back quite a bit, and apparently I arched a little too much. There's happy ending in this. No surgery needed. Just had to wear what was the most restrictive back brace I could ever imagine for about 3 months. 3 or 4 months. And then get physical therapy thereafter to kind of strengthen my back muscles and get things lined up again and all that good stuff. So yeah, that was my venture into cheerleading. And I have the marks to prove it, because there was a second injury from it for my shoulder where I tore the labrum on it. That didn't happen technically until after I stopped the sport, but the cumulative damage was enough that I was lifting one day, and it just popped right out and popped back in, and I knew that stuff ain't right. So then I needed surgery after that one. So I did have a surgery from cheerleading, but luckily it was not the back. It was this little shoulder right there. So I have no idea if that was entertaining or not, but that was my foray into athletics at college that left the mark, as you can say. So, okay. Where in the heck was I? Well, Afton, you just missed a heck of a story, but you'll have to check the bot for that one. Welcome. Hope you're doing well. Paraphrase your greeting. So where are we? Yeah, well, that was the least of my worries back then. So yeah, on Linux. So when did I discover Linux? It was actually after undergrad, at graduate school, when I was asked as part of my teaching assistantship to help with their computation lab for statistical research. And this was a set of networked machines, you might say ad hoc network. I'm going to throw out some vintage ones here. Solaris, SUSE, the very, very early versions of SUSE, Ubuntu Hardy Heron, 804 was it? 7 something? I forgot. Very early versions of Fedora. So all of that, that was where I got my exposure into Linux. It was very odd at first because I was just coming from Windows all those times, but I was hooked. Like the power that I could do of running my stat simulations on that and SSHing into a Linux box from my home an hour away from the grad school and run sims at night, use a screen or tmux session, come back out, and then come back in the next day and see the things are done. That was fun. And I carried those skills into my daily job where I'm SSH into a Linux HPC cluster running Red Hat every single day. So good stuff, man. Yeah, I enjoy those days. So okay, I think with the environment variable stuff set up, we're gonna try this stuff again, and we're gonna kind of recreate. I think we still have that directory, I believe, but we'll load everything here. Let's get our. Although Dester may be different now. Let's see. Dester. Yeah, we'll just do this all over again just in case. Oh, GitHub, you really need that. Alright. So then we're going to create this from GitHub. Got it. And we'll do the whole song and dance again of repo-dir, YAML-dir. Got all the YAML files there. We're going to copy that one. Oh, what am I doing here? Hold on. Wait. Oh, file already exists. Okay, so we do have it here. Okay. Yeah, alright. Okay, here goes nothing. Let's try this. So, okay, origin is a GitHub repo, and upstream either not configured or is not a GitHub repo. Yeah, I don't care about that. Yes, I want to proceed. I know what I'm doing. Let's see what happens here. I think. Oh, so I need to do PR push now. Okay, so it's not just PR init. Now let's see what PR push does. Here, our push has no arguments. Okay, that's a little scary, but let's see. Alright. Let's see if that works. Okay, well. Pull request functions can't work with GitHub remote configuration. Maybe ours of theirs. Now, this is interesting. So, we know we have the token in there, but it's using that HTTPS version of the repo. I wonder if I need to do the SSH version of it, which, let's see. Yeah, okay, so gosh, what is our tester now? Yeah, no, I'm thoroughly confused. Ah, don't split it up. Don't split it up. That's alright, what is our tester? That one, okay. No, not that one. Not that one. And temp Y, okay, that's fine. Alright. I'm just curious what it looks like in here. The status, untracked files. Oh, okay. I thought we... Oh, we need to do that here. Oh, okay. Yep. I'm just going to call this live streamer 2. Now let's try this. Oh, I did it in the wrong terminal. That's one thing with VS Code that will always trip me up if I don't select the R terminal after trying to run these. Now, let's see. Yeah, the use this is definitely not liking this at all. But we'll go with it. Okay. So that should have... Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try pushing this from here. So let's see what remote V shows us. Streamer data. Yeah, okay. So we're going to try this. Origin. Yep. Yep. You're not seeing this on the stream, but it's asking me if I want to sign in with GitHub. So that's, yep. Now I know why. Okay. So, all of that is to say that we need to change this one to be a different form of the URL. Now, what do I mean by that? You're about to find out. At work, I always use this version of the URL, what's called the SSH version, because I set up my credentials to use the SSH protocol. And we're gonna copy that. Going back here, we're gonna redo a bunch of this in here. We'll just make sure this works. And we'll wipe out the other stuff. Let's see if this... Now, the good news is, did you notice how more quiet usethis was in this case? This, I believe, got the PAT. We shall find out. Okay, we have no trace of the temporary file. And then we'll get all this stuff set up here. We'll copy this. Yep, got that. Okay. Let's move dangerously. Let's try this again. What did I just do? Okay. It's trying to autocomplete nonsense there. Stop it, GitHub Copilot. Alright. Alright. I mess up my file here. Something got messed up. All that shenanigans messed something up. Why is it saying I have bad formatting here? I think I know what happened. There we go. Yep. Alright. Here it goes. Let's see. Still giving me that nonsense, which I'm not happy about. Let's try this again. Huh. Still didn't work. Okay. See, it thinks post is... Yeah, I know GA or usethis and has done some stuff about changing the Git authentication stuff. So that's unfortunate. Let's see what the directory looks like now. Alright. Go back here. Go into that. Let's see, get status. Yeah, okay, I did the branch there. Okay. Log, it's got it. Now, the thing is though, when in doubt, I could just do this with a system call. But first I want to see if this works. Just going to call it live SSS. Oh, I gotta... Still wants me to sign in with GitHub. Okay. Yeah, something's crazy here. Let me look at the remote. Yeah, the remote's still bogus. It's still the HTTPS version. Okay. Okay. So, somehow usethis did not get the remote correct. How on earth did it not get the remote correct is beyond me. Unless create from GitHub will always default to that. It's possible. If you use SSH remotes, your SSH keys must also be discoverable in addition to your PAT. Well, okay. Okay. Just going to experiment a little bit and get food here. So I want to change this just on the fly. And change it to the SSH version. Alright, now I bet this push will work. Yep. Yep. So, what have we learned here is that usethis is not respecting what I had told it to do. At least it doesn't seem like it is. It should respect the fact that I wanted the SSH version of the URL. And it just won't work. Now, what we have been exploring here, yeah, where's the respect, I tell you? And it starts with R too. What we have to realize here, protocol, gosh, don't tell me I missed that. Oh, that's going to be hilarious if I did miss that. Let's look at that help file together. I know I did the SSH protocol just now on that terminal, but let me see. Was there a protocol? Oh gosh, there is. Oh, you're kidding. Okay. Okay. Every time I think I might be able to save myself on this, well, you know. That's what I get for streaming at night. Okay, let's do all this again. We're gonna redo everything. We're gonna get out of this. Let me change this code because we won't care about the live stream too long. Okay. Let's see what happens here. Oh, not in the R terminal. I messed up. Okay. Okay, that's good news. Before I go further, I want to check on the local repo side if this really did work. We got it. We got it. Okay, at least I think we got it. Let's see. And try everything again. Okay. There it goes. Well, I know what I'm doing, but it keeps being chatty about that. Oh, I took out the push. Oh, silly me. Okay. But let's first make sure that this did what we wanted to do here. Yep, we're on live stream at 3. Okay. Let me just comment these temporarily, and then we will try this again. Ah. Now that should not have messed anything up from before. Let's see. No, it didn't. Okay, so you know what? Use this doesn't want to do the PR push. We're gonna go a little level here. This is something I just talked about in the R Weekly Highlights podcast. If you didn't listen to that this morning, I talked about an article from the R Open Sci folks on using system commands in R. Origin 5 3. Okay. Who knows if this will work? Let's give it a shot. And it did. Look at that. That's the raw output that we just did earlier. And now to show you all, let's go to this. We should have. This is it. Let's see what happens when I do the PR. I'm just gonna test this out. And the file is changed is this. Okay, so we got pretty close, Now, here's the problem though. Problem was I had to go to GitHub to initiate it. So I think there's something else I'm going to have to do with this after all. I got close, but I didn't quite get there all the way. Because that PR push simply will not actually submit the PR proper in the repo itself. So I've got to figure out. It did the push. Well, oh, I know why. It just did the push of the branch remotely, so of course it's going to do that. That's probably something I'm going to have to deal with in a different way. Via something else, which it's called the GH package. This is supposed to be a client package in R to interact with the GitHub API. So maybe what I have to do is I have to take that branch that I just pushed and use this API to formally submit the PR. But the bad thing about this GH package, and I shouldn't say bad, but it's just they expect you to know what API endpoints you want to use. So it certainly is something I need to think about. But this is the right here. I want to do the polls API to submit the poll request. And at this point, I know there's no way I'm going to be able to figure that one out in the next 10 minutes or so. So maybe what we do now is, ironically, we never really got the shiny stuff, but we're going to commit what we have and make some changes to make sure I don't lose my train of thought. On here, where instead, the first step here is we definitely cannot use this HTTPS version. Oops. We're going to change this to the SSH version. I'm not on VS Code, am I? Okay. Go back there. Let me copy that one. That is going to bug me for a bit that I didn't quite make it, but I tried something radically different, so I can't be too surprised about it. Oh, I used the wrong keyboard again. Get that there. We will commit the YAML file. Okay, YAML file. Okay. Got that. I'll just start vignette or GitHub PR interactions. So we started it. We got pretty close. The last step, let me uncomment all of this, is to replicate the PR push with the GitHub API stuff, with the GH package, to actually take that remote branch after the system call and put the PR in this. So let's see, I need to update that. Update vignette. Well, Monica, I've been casually keeping an eye on this. You are trying out. Oh, you're trying out our studio. Very cool. That's actually what I would recommend people do at first. It was a lot of engineering to set up the VS Code stuff, and it's been a while since I did that stream on YouTube where I walked people through that. But stay tuned. My hope is that within the next couple weeks, I take up our friend Yannick on his offer to do a co-stream of him getting set up with the dev environment and trying out some cool R stuff from somebody who's new to R as well. So that's coming up soon. We just haven't been able to get the schedule in there. But that is where I'll probably do another deep dive into how the Docker stuff works, and then once that's in place, then it will all kind of make sense. I'm sure you got really close, so it'll happen. It'll happen. So, okay, let me push everything to my dev branch. Yeah, see, all that stuff works without a problem. It's just the rest of it doesn't. So, I got to think that use this was not intended for this case, but it was worth a shot. It was worth a shot. So, okay, well, we're approaching my end time here. I went a little over, but certainly thank you all for seeing that what I knew would be a chaotic adventure. I just sensed it, but I just didn't know how chaotic it would be. But we've learned a lot of the internals of usethis and Git repositories locally and putting them in temp areas and all that fun stuff. So we're close. We're close. I think the next linchpin is the GitHub API itself. That will fix it all up. It's just got a matter of doing it. So I'll just say, if you want to get a hold of me online, the best place to go is probably my Twitter account. I'm trying to be more active on there. You've seen that scrolling down the side, the bottom bar there for a bit. And yes, I welcome your follows, and if you're generous, the subscriptions as well. I'll try to make it all worth your while. Still new to the Twitch game, so I'm learning all sorts of tricks from my friends here in the data science and Linux communities that are streaming all good stuff. And if you have ideas for projects that you want me to work on with Shiny or just with R in general, just let me know. Another way to interact with me on the data science side is the Discord that Tan and Afton have graciously set up for a few of us. You can see the link there in the chat if you want to join up there. I have a channel on there with updates on my channel happening, and we share notes on streaming in general. We had a good share of links for the music we like. So I put links in there for the gaming music service I'm using for all that. And yeah, lots of good stuff there. And Tan's going to be doing some pumpkin carving streams very soon, which that will be must-see watching on my end as well. So, all right. Well, I'm sure I'll see many of you online in various circles. And thanks again for joining. And certainly stay in touch. We will see you next time. Probably tomorrow night. If not, then it will be next week. So take care and have a great night. Bye, everybody. That is end of line.